Not a lot of people know this, but Italy has a very similar option as Portuguese D7 Visa, which is called Italy Elective Visa. So if you are either a single applicant or if you want to go to Italy with your family, but without working, only to enjoy your life there, here's how you can do it. Hi there, it's Irena from Nomad Capitalist here. I've been working in operations department for 4 years already and helping clients to move offshore. So let's start with what is elective visa in Italy. So this visa is actually like a 1-year long-term visa that has to be renewed after 2 years. This applies for any foreigners who want to relocate to Italy alone or with their families, but not to work, only to live there. So why I mentioned that this is very similar to Portuguese D7 visa is because for Italy elective visa, you also need to have a passive income. So this is a passive income visa, kind of. Applying for Italy elective visa is really not an easy game. There are a lot of denials. I think that approximately 70% of the consulate appointments ends up in your application being rejected instead of approved. So this is why you should take this very seriously if you want to apply. The main reason why there are a lot of denials is because the active is very much in passive income. So while Portuguese embassies, for example, if you want to go and apply for the passive income for D7 visa in Portugal, the embassies they look at it, but they may sometimes earlier accept someone who has crypto income and consider it as passive, even though it's not, and so on. So, you can somehow get it. But Italian consulates abroad are really taking this very seriously and are looking at your income, for where it comes from, and so on. This is why, if you really want this, I would heartily suggest that you get an opinion of a professionalist, where Nomad Capitalist can help you. So I will talk a bit later on how the process goes, but let's see what would be some of the benefits of you getting the Italian elective visa. So number one is the free education. So for your children, if you are going there with your family and so on, your children can be enrolled into the educational system in Italy. Another benefit is the registration for healthcare in Italy. While at the beginning they ask you to have global health insurance, after that you can get the free healthcare in Italy. Another benefit is that the possibility of applying for permanent residency. How can you get permanent residency? Well, you can get it after the period of 5 years. During that 5 years, however, you have to live in Italy. So you have to live in Italy for 100% more than 6 months, and you also have to pay taxes there. We mentioned this before, even with Italy Golden Visa, that Italy's immigration office is really looking at this very seriously. What happens is that the police is just out of the blue coming at your door to see if you're actually residing there, if you're there or not there, and I don't know what would happen if they catch you that you're not there for like 3 times or so. So you really should take this seriously if permanent residency is your goal. Another goal that you can have in mind is citizenship. If your goal is citizenship, then that is possible after 10 years. So 5 years firstly with the elective visa, then 5 years with permanent residency, and you can qualify for citizenship. Again, even if your goal is citizenship, you have to live in Italy. You have to spend more than 6 months there, and you also have to pay taxes there. Now, considering that you will have to pay taxes, what you can do, potentially, is to apply for the flat tax regime in Italy and to technically have some tax relief, basically, and to pay less in taxes. That's always a possibility. Now, let's talk about requirements that I mentioned before. So, number one thing, that is the main thing that you can perhaps get rejected, is the passive income. So you have to prove that you have a passive income. This passive income is not, okay, I received $1,000 this month, but next month I will receive $10,000, and then the month before I received $5,000 or something like that. The income that you're getting on a monthly basis needs to be a stable income. So it needs to be approximately similar price, similar amount actually that you're receiving, and you have to prove from where you're receiving it. So the income needs to be monthly, to arrive on your bank account on a monthly basis, and to be a passive one, and to be approximately the similar amount each month. So apart from proving that you have that amount, you have to prove from where that amount is coming from. So again, it needs to be a passive income. Some of the things, for example, that can qualify would be pension, would be rental income, can be dividends, and similar. So the things such as, for example, obviously your salary or crypto or those kind of investment that can be considered portfolio income and not passive income would not work. So you have to, once again, show them the bank statements to prove that you're receiving that amount, that is stable income, and you have to prove from where that income comes from. So the minimum amount that you need to have is 32,000 euros on a yearly basis. That is the minimum that you have to show that you're receiving. If you have a bare minimum, well, don't try to have a bit more in order to apply because you don't want to get rejected. If you're coming with family, this amount obviously goes up. So you need to have more in case that you're bringing your spouse with you or your children with you. The next requirement, after you have proved that you have passive income and that you're receiving a stable passive income, the next requirement is to prove that you have a place to stay in Italy. So hotels and other things, Airbnb or bookings or anything like that, that won't work. You need to have a rental agreement because this is a long stay visa. So you have to prove that you have a place to stay. And also, again, if police decide to stop by just to check if you're there, well, they need to know the address. So you have to give them a rental agreement or anything like that that you have for them, or title deed if you want to purchase, to prove that you have an accommodation to stay. And the third requirement is that if you want to apply for an elective visa in Italy, you need to have a private health insurance. So all residents in Italy have access to the universal health care there. However, until you become a resident, you need to have a health insurance with the coverage of at least 60,000 euros. So let's say that you have a passive income. Let's go over the process. Now, I will divide process into 3 stages. The process is actually only one stage, but I will divide it so that to make things easier for you. So the first stage would be eligibility stage. So eligibility stage, we're going to talk about and what we discussed before. So at the eligibility stage, again, one main thing that is leading to like 80% of the application being denied by the Italian consulate abroad is the proof of passive income. I know that this may sound strange, but every case is different because not every income is the same. So your income is not coming from one source, your income may not be completely stable, and so on. So you gotta make sure that at this stage, I would recommend to consult with the professionals to make sure that you can be eligible for this. Nomad Capitalist can help with that. So if you're interested about this, you can get in touch with us and we can help you determine whether you're eligible for this visa or not. So once you have consulted with a professional, I would still recommend to have the professional lead you all the way until the actual approval, because professionals know those kind of tricks and tips and so on that the consulate will look at and so on, that can potentially again lead you to approval instead of denial. Once again, approximately 80%, 70 to 80% of the applications at the Italian consulate gets rejected because of the proof of income. So let's say that you have passed the eligibility stage, you have what it takes, you consulted with the professionalists, and now you can apply. So we go to the next stage, the application stage. So at this stage, you can start collecting the documents. The documents are not that extensive. So you need the application form, you need the ID card, you will need the passport, you will need a proof of Italian accommodation, you will need a proof of health insurance, you will need passive income, and passport-size photos, for example. Of course, additional documents can be requested, but these are some of the main ones. So now that you have all documents, when you notarize them and translate them and so on, then you can submit your application. The application is submitted at the Italian consulate abroad, but make sure that the Italian consulate needs to be the consulate that is in charge of the area where you live. So you cannot live in Washington, D.C., but you submitted your application in Canada. So you have to go at the Italian consulate in that country or state where you reside. Or if there's no consulate, then the consulate that is in charge for your territory. So you submitted your application at the consulate, fingers crossed that it's an approval. And after that, we go into the third stage. The third stage is post-approval stage. So what happens after that? Italian consulate approved your application. They put a visa sticker in your passport, and you now have an Italian elective visa. The process is not done yet because once the visa is issued, you have 1 year to go to Italy physically and basically stay there because you have to stay there. So once again, when you have your visa, you have a year to move. This is really good because, again, it's a long-term visa. So Italy kind of allows you to, well, you know, move your belongings, to enroll children into the school in Italy and so on. They will not give you a month to move, but they give you time to really relocate your whole life to Italy, and that's pretty much it. So the process is not over yet. Once you are physically in Italy, you have a period of 8 days to visit the immigration office and basically get your permit. That is where the process ends. Again, once you have your permit, you renew it after a period of 2 years. And then you can wait for the period of 5 years, apply for permanent residency, wait for another 5 years, and apply for Italian citizenship. So this is the process of how you can get the Italian elective visa. Hope this helped you, but keep in mind again that I would strongly advise that you need the help of a professionalist if you want to get to get this visa. Again, pretty much similar to Portuguese D7 visa, a bit longer time for citizenship and for permanent residency than in Portugal. But with all the delays in Portugal, with the immigration office and similar, well, it's pretty much same timeline because you either way have to wait in Portugal for years to get the biometrics appointment. Well, okay, for D7 visa, it may be a bit quicker, but if you have family with you, that will take years. So Italy is a bit better than that. But again, remember, you gotta live there and you have to pay taxes in Italy. You can apply for the flat tax regime, but you have to pay taxes. And that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and check out for some of the future exciting videos that we are planning to publish.